Hi hearts, it's Michelle from The Healing Heart. First of all, I'd like to say hello. Love you all. So glad you're here. And watch behind me because there's been some pretty crazy things happening over the last few days. Sessions that I've been doing, there have been a lot of like orby looking flying, and no, it's not a fly, it's not a bug. It's got a light source of its own. You can see it. So we'll see if anything shows up here. That's my invite, everybody in spirit. You're welcome to fly on in and say hello. Um, so today I'm going to actually deliver a message from you, for you, from spirit. It's really interesting because, well, I've said this many times. When I receive messages from myself, often they do apply to a lot of us because we are collective. And those of us that are consciously aware of this journey, we just came through a moon, full moon. There's like this ebb and flow to our path that we're experiencing. And so even though we're going on this journey with this individual perspective, we're also on this journey together and as a collective. So this message that came in today is some of what I was receiving for myself. But when I went back to ask Spirit, is there anything that I can share with all those that are watching the video today? I got the response of yes, and thank you. I'm hearing some of it right now too. Some of it is, again, like I said, a bit of what I have already heard before for myself, but that this is meant for you as you're watching this video right now. There will be something in here that hopefully resonates for you, because what I'm being told is this is specifically for those watching this video. And it doesn't matter when you come across this video. If you're watching it right now, there's something here for you. If it doesn't make sense right now, that's okay. Stick it in your back pocket, save it for later, because there is a connection to you somewhere, or it could be for somebody around you that's going through something right now. So what they're showing me is the root chakra. Why the root chakra? The root chakra is our safety, our safe place, our foundations, located in our perineal area, right in the like in the seat, right between your butt, right down in that area. That's your root chakra. There can be a lot of things that we have stored in that area that are coming up for release right now, particularly family stuff, belief systems that have been ingrained in us for a very long time. Sometimes belief systems that have come from family, pain. Yes, I'm also hearing family origin as well. So this may not be even something that is just occurring from your own family, but goes back generations that's coming up right now. So are you healing from something? Are you dealing with a situation in your life? A family member, whether that be a parent, a sibling, brother, sister, mother, father, cousin, aunt, uncle. Whether this is a situation that you're dealing with that could have to do with addiction, abuse. And remember, this comes out in many different forms. Whether these are belief patterns, ways of doing things that have been done that way for a very long time. These are things that are rising to the top right now. And a lot of us are being asked to revisit the root chakra, to go back to these roots, to re-examine. And rather than look at what's coming up for you as what has been done from the other side? What have they done? What do they not understand? What are they not seeing? But rather, where are we being hypocritical? Where are we looking at something that we're holding on to? What are we doing in our own cycles, not only with ourselves, but towards other people, that it's been very comfortable for us to be in this pattern with those around us? What are we doing to step outside of that pattern? The Spirit's just reminding me that to be change, to be part of change, we too must not look just on the outside of us and to look for that change to be coming in all of these other directions, but where can we find that change in our own lives? Something as simple as, can we really look at what we do? Do we do it because we're trying to please somebody in our family? Are we looking for their validation, their appreciation? Because regardless, whether it's family or friends, co-workers, anyone else, they are on the outside of you. And so if we're looking for validation on the outside of us, or acceptance, then that's opportunity for us to look inside and say, well, is this actually something that's aligned with me? Is this a belief that I truly have, or do I do this because it's expected of me? And so this gives us opportunity to do these things. We couldn't possibly know what it is that we need to release, what it is that we need to work on or to heal, if we don't take the time to examine these things. And we're going to find over the next few months that there are going to be several opportunities for us to move into different areas, different chakras in our body, that we'll have an opportunity to revisit. And Spirit's using the phrase to tighten things up, to align things more and more to who we truly are. And I also want you to remember, living for yourself, doing things in the way that is very honest and aligned with who you truly are, isn't always a popular decision or a popular way of being. Not everybody always understands that. There are times that can cause hurt feelings, even though it may have nothing to do with anybody else, and usually doesn't. But sometimes being truthful, sometimes being honest with ourselves, even though being honest with ourselves feels very good, but that honesty can be very difficult for other people to understand. And so be compassionate with yourself and be compassionate with others. Because do remember that we are going through a very historical time on Earth right now. That the changes within us and around us are sometimes fast, multi-layered, complicated. And we want to do this in the least complicated way possible. And so how we do that is we start in the root chakra. We examine. We look at what's coming up, and we give ourselves opportunity to sit with it. Something that I did just recently that I want to share is I had some things that started to come up within me, and they were things that I didn't expect. To be honest with you, it threw me for a little bit of a loop. It was, I started to have some memories and started to piece things together that I really, some things I just forgot about. And I'm sure you can understand that. Certain things you just forget about. And when you start to piece things together and understand why something happened in your life, why you made the choice that you did because you didn't know what you now know, you have an opportunity to go back and look at many things and look at them, examine them, put yourself in the position of the other people that you've had some of these experiences with. And so what I did was I sat in meditation yesterday, actually, and I went over many different scenarios that I've experienced in my life that were connected to this one thing, or that somehow had an effect. And some things were behaviors that I had towards other people that I look at now and are not aligned with who I am, especially with what I know now. And so I was able to go into meditation and visualize going through the experience with these people and rewriting that situation, rewriting that conversation, rewriting it to what I wish I had have said. This is kind of the same idea as if when we write things out and we talk about how we feel. This is another way of doing this. But what this also does is you have to remember that we are having multiple timelines in our life. We are multidimensional. And because our lives do not exist as linear, as past, present, future in a row, the way that we operate in our day, morning, noon, and night, but that they're truly stacked on top of each other and existing all at the same time. So when you go into do this type of work, whether you see a hypnotist or you have past life regression, progression, any of that type of work being done, you have an opportunity to go back into these situations. And I know that it's not it was something that I was able to do, although there was some trauma to some of it, but it was something that I was able to do myself. And sometimes we need help. We need a practitioner or someone to help us through that, which is perfectly fine. Whether we're able to do it ourselves or do it with help, whatever works best for each one of us is the correct answer. But because we're multidimensional beings, and because our experiences in our lives are stacked, what we do in this lifetime affects these other lifetimes. It affects what has happened and what continues to happen. And it's hard for us to get our human mind to wrap itself around this. It's a very complex way of trying to understand how this all works. But just know this: you have the ability to change the frequency, change the energy of circumstances by being willing to face them, by being willing to examine them, by changing the story, by rewriting the story, by taking out the way that you remember it happening and inputting what you prefer. And what that does is that helps the energy, that helps the connection to some of these circumstances. And now I have to say, because as I'm saying this, I'm getting some information too, and Spirit's just saying to me that, what I did yesterday is not going to work for everybody. It also depends on what your situation is, what it is that you're healing. Sometimes we have circumstances that are going to take a little more work than that. But the biggest part about all this is And when we go back into the root chakra again and mention that, it's our belief systems. So I can tell you all of this, and I can tell you that, yes, I did this, and I feel a lot better, and I feel that I've released something, I've cleared something, and I feel better for it. But if you don't believe that, if that's not something that's in your belief system and you don't believe that that's possible, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to have the same effect. So I'm not telling you to believe in something that you don't believe in. I'm telling you to be open to the possibilities, to examine what is within, examine your foundations, examine why you believe what you do, examine where you're at today, and walk with an open mind. Because not one of us, and I've said this many times before, not one of us has the answer to the entire everything. We all carry pieces of the puzzle. And we all are connected, but we're all here having this singular perspective. So it's only me, you, and whoever else you're with that can see from our own perspective. We can all each see from our own perspective. I've said many times before, I wish I could take a plug and plug it into other people so that they could see what was going on in here. So they could see some of the visuals and how intricate it gets at times. And it's hard. It's hard to explain that. Half the reason why I kept my mouth shut for so long, for so many years, was it sounded crazy. It sounded like it was hard for, I felt it was hard for other people to relate to how I was experiencing things. So how you come to your truth has to be in a way that is right for you, but challenge your beliefs. And I really urge you to do your own research. Question. Go inside. Nobody else can go inside for you. So go inside and take a look at some of these things that are popping up. You know what's inside you that you're resisting. You know what's inside that you would much rather look the other way and not look at because it's too painful. It's too embarrassing. It's too shameful. But there is not one of us on this earth that walks in a perfect form, that has not felt shame, that has not felt pain, or that has done everything the way that some book lies out that we should be. Every single one of us feels it, and whether we are able to be vulnerable enough to share it, or to talk about it, or even to just accept it, to look at it, that's really where all the beauty comes from, is being vulnerable with ourselves. But you have to remember, you're doing all of this for you. What you do for you is good for everybody else. I'm going to add one other thing before I go. I'm just going to say, right now with everything else that's going on in this world, there's one thing that each and every one of us can do that makes a difference. If each and every one of us is willing to go inside and find inside all of the resources, the infinite connection to heal, to understand, to no longer be on the outside in a world of distraction. If all of us connect with ourselves on the inside and wake up, we all are connected to the collective brain. And the more of us that wake up, the greater and stronger that collective brain is. Now, can you imagine if all of us put that energy together into a healing, to heal the earth, to heal each other? Can you imagine what that would do? That is where we're headed. So know that when you're doing this work on yourself, you are participating in what's good for the world, because what is good for you is good for others. Be at peace, hearts. Thank you so much for watching today. Please take that message within your heart and go inside and heal those beautiful hearts. Healing hearts from my heart to yours. Peace out.